Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very well. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider it. Over 67% of people that watch in the last couple of weeks are not subscribed. Alright, hello. Wow, okay, so a lot has been going on, obviously, in the world of Tana Mongeau and Brooke Schofield and the Cancelled podcast, and by the way, a lot of people were wondering if Brooke is going to be coming back to the podcast, and Tana has been very heavily implying that Brooke will be back within the next couple weeks, and also keep in mind their tour starts in literally a couple weeks, so they have to come back to the podcast, obviously, before they come back on, like, their tour, so I'm sure that we'll see some sort of statement by Brooke on the podcast very soon, or otherwise, you know, they'll just start the podcast and not talk about what happened with Brooke. I don't know. I think one thing I will say with what has been going on with Brooke is it's really a first in a YouTuber cancellation where Brooke hasn't stopped posting on social media. Like, normally when an influencer gets called out for racist tweets or problematic actions, they'll kind of go silent for a little bit so that even if they're not, they'll pretend like they're trying to like look inwards and stuff. Brooke, who arguably has one of the most racist pasts of any influencer we've ever seen, has been posting like all the time on her TikTok and on her Instagram, so it's very weird, her approach, and it will be interesting to see how that serves her in the long run, because I don't think it'll be appreciated. But anyways, if you're aware, on the Cancelled podcast, right before everything kicked off with Brooke, they were telling stories about LA influencers that they have the displeasure of knowing. And one of them was Alyssa Violet. And we covered the story on this YouTube channel. And they basically were saying how Alyssa Violet was the meanest girl in LA, and how she was a bully, how she treated Brooke like shit, how she was always mean to Tana. Like, they really went in on Alyssa, and it was a really big part of the Cancelled podcast lore, where the audience then had all these bad stories about Alyssa. They started flooding her social media, and the reason that this started was actually, I'm trying to refresh my memory on this lore, but Alyssa Violet had made a TikTok, and it was basically, oh, I did remember. God, so much has been happening. By the way, thank you so much for all the love on the Rosanna Pansino interview I posted yesterday. I really appreciate it. So what had happened, just remembered, was Alyssa Violet had made a TikTok calling Tana Mongeau out for basically being really mean and bullying Jason Nash, because Tana Mongeau had made a TikTok being like, if you're having a bad day, just remember that Jason Nash is begging for money on TikTok, which is a very valid thing for Tana to say, considering the fact that Tana has literally been in such an uncomfortable relationship with Jason Nash since she was like 18 or 19 years old, and he was so much older, the little dinosaur. So she has every right to speak out against him. He was, you know, trying to pressure for Tana to have a threesome with Trisha and him. Like, he's very creepy, and Tana has every right to make fun of him. Alyssa Violet did this TikTok, and then she basically made fun of Tana in the process and said, you know, not everyone can sell their hole on TikTok by their asshole. And basically it was like slut-shaming Tana in the process. Then Tana and Brooke responded and were like, oh, you're going to come for us? We're not going to air out that you're the nastiest person in LA. So it's taken a while, but Alyssa has finally responded properly. She had responded on her TikTok at the time and was like, I don't care enough to talk about this. Like, I'm so above all this. And obviously, with the Cancelled podcast being on a brief hiatus, Brooke Schofield being cancelled, and Tana Mongeau, you know, kind of just doing her own thing right now, this was the perfect time for Alyssa to make a My Response video. Now, what I do have to say is she's wearing a top that says meanest girl in LA, and that is quite camp. That is quite camp. Anyways, let's get to this video. So yeah, it is obviously, Alyssa waited until it was a safe time to make this video, even though she started everything, which I think is quite ironic. She said, sorry for the delay. I'm normally the queen of responses, but I didn't care enough to shed more light onto this. I've been traveling, dealing with things going on in my personal life, and just living my brat summer. After some deliberating, I've deceived. I owe an explanation. This is my only response. I don't exist to accommodate internet drama. I'm here for comedic relief, inspiration, comfort, and sexiness. Love you. Okay. Now, that's all bullshit, and the only reason she's making this video is, again, because this is probably the best time that she could rally people against Brooke and Tana, which is what she has been trying to do. Alright, let's get to this video.
Okay. Let's get into it, shall we? This is gonna be the only video that I'm doing on this topic. I'm not gonna drag this on for weeks for clips and clout and views. I'm only doing this for my truth. So if people decide to talk beyond this and continue this narrative and spread misinformation and slander, I don't care enough to be a part of that. I've come way
Misinformation and slander is crazy.
too far and worked on myself too much just to fall back into internet drama. Trust me. You guys are more than welcome to form your own opinions. I'm not gonna try to direct you into thinking that I'm a perfect person. I'm actually far from it.
I do love and appreciate the meanest girl in LA top. This is now my second time addressing it. I appreciate it.
I'm human, I make mistakes just like the rest of us. I've received thousands of comments, DMs, TikToks, tags, etc., pretty much telling me how awful of a human being I am, and believe me, I'm seeing it all, and I have been. As much as I'd love to ignore this entire situation, turn my comments off, and hope that this all blows over, I really don't feel comfortable doing that, because if I were to stay silent, then it's validating what everybody's saying and have been saying and making it true. And I'm not willing to do that. I'm sure you're all aware by now that I've gotten myself into a little bit of a pickle, and it's completely my own doing, 100% my fault, and I take responsibility for that. I am a firm believer in holding people accountable for their actions and addressing their wrongdoings. So let's start at the beginning.
Oh my god. She has not stopped looking at the top of the camera, like right above here, which would be the viewfinder. Girl, try not to act vain for 1 second. I love this top. I need this top, but to say Brighton. Love that top.
Straight, I saw this creator named Tana mongeau make video after video making fun of other creators on TikTok. She also has a podcast where
I'm obsessed with her saying this creator as if she hasn't been friends with Tana.
And her co-hosts sit on a couch once a week and negatively gossip about Los Angeles celebrity drama. So I saw a few TikTok clips from their podcast, and Tana's assistant had a very nasty story about this other creator who happens to be a very good friend of mine. This story sounded so absolutely bogus to me, so I actually confirmed.
You don't hear bogus much these days.
From a couple other creators, one of them being Tana's podcast co-host Brooke on the phone, pretty much confirming that this never happened and the whole story was fabricated in order to get views and a story for the podcast. So this creator, my good friend, was getting so much hate due to this fake encounter that she had to turn off her commenting, stop posting altogether, and pause all of her paid collaborations. She was receiving death threats. So moving forward, over the next few days, I continue scrolling on TikTok and I continue seeing Tana and her co-host continue to allude to this fake encounter and keep using my good friend's name because her name was getting the most tags and views. This light sucks. Sorry, I need the light. Then I continue to see Tana post targeted and incessant,
not the fucking sunglasses, oh my god,
hate videos to other creators on the platform. One of them was an older man that happens to go live a lot.
Okay, she's not being realistic here. I saw Tana post excessive hate harassment videos about an older gentleman. You mean Jason Nash? Who tried to kiss her when he was like 40 fucking thousand? And she was like 18, 19 years old? That old gentleman, that was trying to get a 19-year-old to be in a threesome with his girlfriend at the time and kept pressuring her on camera, kept hiding it under a joke. Alissa, you have specifically said you do not know the lore of Jason and fucking Tana, so don't fucking speak on it. Don't fucking speak on it. Yes, public favor may be on your side right now because Brooke is in the shits. I'm not denying that. But what I am denying is what goes around comes around. And if you're going to tell this inaccurate portrayal of it, it will come back to bite you in the ass. It will. You can't just hop on it.
So she would constantly belittle and harass this man to send...
Because he was begging for money on TikTok Live after having his years in the peaks when he treated everyone like shit. And now he has to beg for money on TikTok while simultaneously making fun of people who do the regular jobs because he would never want to do that. Alyssa, this is an inaccurate portrayal of this older gentleman that you keep referring to. And by the way, Jason Nash still lives a life of luxury, so this is not someone who desperately needs the money. This is someone who's choosing not to get a fucking job while speaking down about everyone else who has a regular job. It's not an accurate portrayal. And also, fuck off with this narrative of gossiping and bitterness. We all do it. We all do it. You're wearing a top that says meanest girl in LA, which is alluding to a drama that you were in. Yes, it's camp and I love it, but it all boils down to the fact that you're not perfect. You've reiterated that, and you're making such a big fucking deal. You know why this pisses me off? I hate when people fucking act so fucking above it all. And it's so irritating, and it's always the nastiest people you will ever meet will speak down about everyone else for being nasty. And I'm like, you're fake as fuck. This really bothers me. It will always bother me. It's happened in my life. It's happened in things I've seen online. Oh my God.
Her large fan base to go and make fun of him and bully him pretty much. Now, this didn't sit right with me for a number of reasons, so
because you're in the David Dobrik circle. You were hanging out with David Dobrik before this. Jason Nash is part of that fucking circle. That's why you had a problem with it. Be honest. Be honest, Alyssa. Oh my God. Baby, you mean nothing to me. So this is not a personal attack at fucking all. I love the top, love the glasses, very camp. But what I am saying is, if you're gonna put yourself on the line and call someone out when you know that they're currently being canceled, so you are jumping on it, by the way, you are jumping on it, you have to say things that are accurate, because in 2 weeks' time, when the internet fucking loves Brooke again, you know, because there's no fucking thing as accountability, this will come back and bite you in the ass again. And then you'll be preaching bullying and harassment and all this fucking bullshit. It's always the meanest people you'll ever meet will preach about kindness. No, you're just David Dobrik's friend.
In the community as a fellow creator, I decided to respond to her TikTok with my own, saying,
in which you also spoke down about her and made fun of people who do OnlyFans work, which in turn is you making fun of people for having a job, which is actually what you accused Tana of doing. So what is the narrative? I hate people who are so fucking hypocritical. In your attempt to call Tana out for making fun of someone for having a regular job, or whatever the fuck it was, you made fun of Tana's job. You slut-shamed her in the process as well. So, Alyssa, what is it? What is it? I would love to sit down here and give you your fucking tens. I would fucking love it. There's nothing I love more than a fucking exposed video. Or whatever this is. But you're not being honest. You're not being honest.
saying, hey, let's not bully someone for trying to make money, you know? Not every...
But you made fun of Tana for trying to make money.
Bonk.
Bonk.
Take a nude photograph on OnlyFans and make $1 million like you, Tana. And that was misconstrued as being shady and contradicting. I meant...
But it was... You can't just be like, oh, people thought it was, but it's not.
No shade with that. So after I posted that video,
and Tana could say, I meant no shade by the Jason Nash thing. Why do you get out of it for saying I meant no shade? But for Tana, it's a problem. Again, I can't deal with the fucking hypocrisy.
I woke up and I realized that I messed up tremendously. I wasn't aware that this creator had a past with Tana. I'm aware that he had a very public relationship with another popular creator, but that's all I knew. Although I'm also friends with this creator off camera, it wasn't until after I posted my video that I became more familiar with this creator's past, and for that, I genuinely do apologize for not...
Even though I am friends with this creator, talking about Jason Nash. So, can I throw something out there that you only did this because you wanted to keep that friendship with David Dobrik and Jason Nash, Alyssa? Just be honest.
Doing my research, I jumped the gun and I spoke on something that I shouldn't have, and for that, I am sorry. Although my video is misinterpreted, my original intentions do stay, and I'm sticking with that. I don't believe in shaming or bullying other people, and I don't believe in misinformation or slander of any kind. Podcasts can be so toxic and dangerous because everything turns into a he said, she said scenario because there's no fact checking. I could technically go on a podcast and fabricate an entire story about somebody and speak as if it's a fact, and the the internet would just believe me and my audience would go and attack that person. I don't think that's fair, and
This is literally all stemming from defending Jason Nash.
definitely don't believe in weaponizing a fan base. Since I made my first video, I've tried to handle this offline, behind closed doors, to avoid more attention, and I've spoke to these girls separately. So then, on her podcast, Tana and her co-host Brooke made some pretty serious accusations about me, one of which saying I was inquiring to Tana about making an OnlyFans account, therefore implying that I'm some sort of hypocrite. I'm gonna show my conversations with her throughout the years regarding
It's Tana responding in 2020 saying, started OnlyFans, we're begging. I knew it, had to try after Alissa said never. Let's read these. Tana says, tell me your thoughts on OnlyFans. She says there's no amount of money in the world. Ha 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 ha, respected, had to ask. Ha ha, why? I was gonna pitch making you a fucking bag. LMAO, how to make an OnlyFans. Yes, you would make multi-millions, no question, and show nothing. The second I announced that I make an OnlyFans, even if I just posted pictures of my dogs, everyone would assume I'm the worst, even without seeing what I'm posting. Then the people who purchase the things would feel scam and start a controversy, can't win. Tana says, I mean, you could wildly control the narrative. Like, everyone does it, and people, I feel, no longer think it's the worst. They would know you're in your bag. I also truly feel like no one would feel scammed. Everyone does it. As long as you don't overpromise and underdeliver, it could legit be photos that just don't make it to Instagram. Also, at the end of the day, you have a fuck ton of male followers who are going to sexualize you regardless. Might as well make a killing off of that. It's a really weird text from Tana. Very weird. Side note as well, on my second OnlyFans page, Tana Gone Wild, I vlog weekly. I vlog me drinking, being fun and wild. People have always loved you vlogging so much. You could make a weekly 10-minute video that you don't edit and make a minimum 500k a month off of that. She says, that's wild. I'll think about it. Like dead-ass vlogs. You could promote it with full honesty. I know people make the most on it. You'll be buying a house and a Lambo after 6 months. Okay, so basically showing that Tana Mongeau has been the one. And you know why this makes sense and why I believe Alissa on this? Because, so basically the story was that Tana said that Alissa on Nights Out would tell her that she wants to do OnlyFans, which could still be true. You know, these text messages are from 2020, so, right? Twenty twenty, 2023, and 2020. So obviously since then they could have had conversations in person. I'm not denying that. I'm not trying to pick sides here, but all I know is that Tana Mongeau, her OnlyFans, is fucking wild. And by wild, I mean is, in my opinion, just so exploitative and under promises, and literally is that. Photos that don't make it to Instagram. And I'm fully on, I do believe Alissa whenever she shows all this. Even if there was conversations behind the scenes, I do believe that Tana would be wanting to have Alissa join OnlyFans because Tana had a really shady agency called like Unruly or something, Tana's Angels or something like that, which I definitely want to make a deep dive into, which was bringing like young talent on and stuff. So Tana would also probably be trying to make money off of this or something like that. So I fully believe Alissa on this, even if a conversation happened where Alissa said, I would love to do OnlyFans or something. I believe that it came down to Tana asking first. I'm on Alyssa's side with that one.
And I've always politely declined. Pause to read. Another accusation was that I texted her co-host Brooke that Tana gave you a career, when in fact I texted who you said gave you a.
I understand you have to publicly defend your co-host who you said gave you a career, but to throw me under the bus after you privately. Okay, so Tana said that Alissa said, this is getting confusing. Tana said that Alissa said that Tana gave Brooke a career, when in actuality, Alyssa's text said who you said gave you a career to Brooke. So Brooke said that Tana gave a career.
This is all alluding to the conversation Brooke and I had on the phone a week prior, where Brooke said the words, and I quote, I have to be careful because it's Tana's podcast and she's pretty much gave me a career, so I don't have any editing rights, end quote. Brooke said that. I didn't. I think that's mean. I would never tell somebody that. Brooke also stated her distaste for the gossip and drama surrounding the podcast and hates spreading misinformation. I actually had a really good conversation with her on the phone, and I thought she was like a super sweet, well-rounded person with good intentions and a good heart, a good head on her shoulders. I actually followed her on TikTok right after that call. I thought she was cool. Never in my life would I think that this woman...
I believe her on that as well. I do believe that in a situation where Brooke thought she was in private, she would be completely agreeing with everything Alissa said rather than being confrontational. I believe Alissa on that point as well. See how I can be so fair? God, aren't I great?
It would completely 180 flip-flop on me and go off on her next podcast. So fast forward to their episode, they proceed to bully me and write a poem about me and share stories and come to the conclusion that I'm the meanest girl in LA after they already slandered my name and came up with false accusations. Tana, I didn't realize that you had such a problem with me. We've always been cordial. I've never said anything bad about you to this day. I could have said something when you hooked up with my ex, when you tried to continue to hook up with my ex after we broke up, when you married my other ex on camera after I came out about my abuse with him. So I've stayed fine with you throughout all that, so I'm confused where all this is coming from. To be clear, I don't have a problem with you when I could have for a very long time.
No, this is interesting. So Tana tweeted, so FaZe Banks, who they're talking about the ex, he said, Tana is literal family and Alissa is my ex-wife. Love them both to death. However, it would feel wrong not to speak on the recent drama. I saw firsthand exactly what Alissa described life to be like in LA during this time. She makes valid points. Literally, there are random LA girls who I've slept with making TikToks about how Alissa was rude to them. No shit, I'm not proud of any of it. Alissa and I have been in a great place for years. She's definitely not perfect. None of us are, but she takes accountability for that here. Valid response to the mean girl narrative. I'm proud of her. All right, okay, so Tana responds and says, oh my god, she literally just deleted it. She just deleted it, but good thing I loaded it up quickly. Oh my god, she literally just deleted it. Okay, sorry, Tana, but I had already loaded it up. I got with Banks before he even knew Alyssa's name, and that's 1 out of 100 of her lies. Done laughing at her shit. 1000%, but you can respond to that tweet if you think it's important to clarify we hooked up first, because that is true, and I can confirm. Why did she delete that? I clocked it. Sorry, Tana.
Okay, so moving forward, the entire theme of this is that Alyssa's a mean girl, right? But they're leaving out some very important context of A, 2016, 2017, 2018 peak toxic LA clout culture with vultures
Gossip train,
and everyone's fake trying to
chugging down the track,
everyone to get to where they want to be. And B, everyone during this time of my life was trying to use me for one thing or another. Guys were trying to hook up with me, older business people were trying to finesse me and steal from me. Girls were trying to be fake nice and interested in being my friend when realistically they just wanted a career from me, and half of them were either actively my boyfriend at the time, and the next day, sometimes even the same night, approaching me and trying to be my friend. So I'm not gonna sit there and pretend to be nice to these people. I was cordial and I gave these people way more respect than they ever deserved. I was so young and insecure and in one of the most toxic relationships of my life. All of my boyfriends were cheating on me with the entire county of Los Angeles, not to mention New York and Miami. I started companies with people, I got screwed out of contracts, money withheld, and I genuinely thought every single person in the world was fake and phony and out to get me and was gonna take advantage of me once again. I had the most insane trust issues, and to this day I still do, which I'm obviously been working on, which I'm proud of. I'd be surprised if I wasn't a little bit jaded after everything I went through. So yes, I have historically been a bitch, and that was on purpose. I wanted to be so unapproachable and scary that nobody would ever fuck me over again. After being fucked over and taken advantage of 1,000 times over.
I mean, I can see both parts in this. I mean, so basically she is confirming that the narrative is true, but she's giving a reason for why it is true. So I don't really know how to comment on that.
It was the only defense mechanism that I had left. And I don't want to spin this into me being a victim or saying that this is justifying anything, because it's not. But for those people to drag this mean girl persona thing with those parts missing is absolutely insane. And to anybody who I was rude to in person who didn't deserve it.
Oh, the glasses come off, honey.
And I know there must have been a few. I genuinely am very sorry. I know that wasn't right, and I'm 100% taking responsibility for that. Hurt people, and God knows that I was fucking hurt. It's been years since I decided to turn a new leaf and start the process of the inner working and healing. It was actually right after my 25th birthday that my two best friends sat me down and was like, hey, you're kind of like a bitch, so let's calm down. So I decided to change right after that. I think that was my quarter life crisis that I was going through. I'm still learning, but I will say this. I have learned to have and make healthy boundaries for myself, and I would honestly rather be mean and a bitch than to be way too nice and to be taken advantage of, once again, for the millionth time in my life.
Fair point.
I'm not nice to people that I don't like. It's that simple. I'm not a fake person. I don't have to be nice to anybody that I don't like, and I think that should be okay. For example, if you come up to me at a party and start acting really weird and following me around and then randomly throw in, hey, by the way, sorry, I f***ed your ex, ha ha ha, are we still gonna be friends? I'm gonna be like, no, get the f*** out of here, and I'm gonna tell people about it because now I don't like you. Don't come up to me at a party and try to flex that you hooked up with the man who ruined my life for all these years. Just don't do that. Don't be weird. But I think the misconception here is that I'm a bitch or I'm a mean girl to everyone that I come in contact with, which is just not the case. Again, if you got caught in the crossfire of 2018, 19...
I'm so obsessed that she keeps taking on and off her glasses. And I'm also quite annoyed that it's not making an indent on her nose the way it does whenever I wear sunglasses.
2017, like all those years, even 2020 even, and 2021... I was a bitch and I was fucking mean to some people, especially girls, because I just assumed that they were hooking up with my ex because most of them were. But I am sorry again. I'm in therapy. I've changed a lot over the years. I'm really proud of how far I've come. And that's why I came back to YouTube, because I feel genuinely like a better person. I'm still a bitch, but when it's warranted. I do want to address Amari and personally apologize. If that's your story with me, I'm not going to try and take that away from you, and I'm not going to try to discredit that. That's your story with me, and that's fine. I am sorry for being rude to you in passing. I think I just automatically saw you as Tana's best friend, so you were guilty by association, because I associate Tana with drama and deceitfulness and lies. Probably because of the situation I'm in right now is a perfect example. Brooke, I am sorry that I don't remember meeting you all those times, but to be...
Because, again, Brooke said that Alissa would act like she'd never met her before, but they had met like hundreds of times. That's that lore behind that.
Fair, you do look different every single time I see you. And that's no shade. I literally dyed my hair orange and burned off...
Whoa! Whoa!
To be fair, you do call you as Tana's best friend, so you were guilty by association, because I associate Tana with drama and deceitfulness and lies. Probably because of the situation I'm in right now is a perfect example. Brooke, I am sorry that I don't remember meeting you all those times, but to be fair, you do look different every single time I see you. And that's no shade. I literally dyed my hair orange and burned off my eyebrows for a couple months, so I look different every time somebody sees me too. This whole situation reminded me how much
That was a crazy drag. That was crazy.
hate this shit and the drama that comes with it, and reminded me why I took a couple years off to get my mind right. As long as my friends, my family, my boyfriend, my dogs, the people in my direct circle, as long as they know who I am, they know my soul, they know my character, that's all I really care about. Okay, I'm ending the video, but I will say this. Listen, I understand everybody wants the tea on what's going on in celebrity culture.
I'm so obsessed with how close she's gotten. I feel like I also need to get like really close. I feel like we're like whispering to each other.
Specifically in Los Angeles. But when you have to make up a story and fabricate an encounter, spread misinformation and slander somebody and speak as if something's fact, that can be so damaging and hurtful to somebody's mental health, not to mention their personal brand that they've worked so hard to build. So just be real. okay?
She's gotten even closer.
Don't spread lies and misinformation to make yourself look cooler, because newsflash, you look like a fucking idiot. All right, I'm done.
She's great teeth. Great teeth. All right. Okay, let's discuss. So, the start of this video was a lot worse than the ending. I enjoyed the ending, actually, but the start was quite bad. I mean, she has basically confirmed a lot of what Tana and Brick said, but just given reasons for it. I do think the OnlyFans bit is something to definitely take into consideration. That maybe Tana spoke out against her because she was annoyed she never did an OnlyFans. I like the second half of this video. First half, once we got past the Jason Nash defending, I was on board for it. And that brick drag at the end was evil. Evil. All right, muckers, I will see you in my next one. I hope you're all doing very well, and goodbye.